2 minutes ago, Senator Amy Klobuchar did something no one expected. She didn't shout, didn't throw documents on the table, didn't put on a show. He just leaned into the microphone, looked directly into Kash Patel's eyes, and said the 6 words that froze the room. Let's talk about Trump's classified documents. Let's talk about Trump's secret documents. Then, silence. Not a polite silence. A suffocating and heavy silence, where everyone knows something monumental is about to erupt. And then you see it. Patel's face seemingly about to explain everything. Senate Intelligence Committee, Tuesday afternoon. FBI Director confirmation hearing. The room is packed. Cameras every place. Journalists, staff, and security personnel line the walls. This hearing was not expected to be a dramatic session. It had been scheduled for last week with the national security nominee. But Klobuchar had other plans. Patel's entrance, Kash Patel, walked in as if he had everything under control. Shoulders back, tailored suit, a slight smirk, like someone who thinks they know everything. He had attended dozens of hearings. He knew the game. Savum. Consume time. Give me those that seem like answers, but are not answers. Smile at the camera. Leave without being touched. But she wasn't ready for Amy Klobuchar. The first 45 minutes. Calm sees standard procedures. Budget allocations. Cybersecurity briefings. Threats. Short questions about field office personnel. Patel handled it smoothly. He seemed almost bored. He checked his watch twice. He looked at the legal team. He was probably thinking about dinner. Then, it was Klobuchar's turn. She didn't waste a single second. Director Patel, he said, his voice calm, almost friendly. I want to discuss something that has been troubling me for months. The classified documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. Director Patel, he said, his voice calm, almost friendly. I want to discuss something that has been bothering me for months. The classified documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. Patel's expression changed slightly. If you weren't watching your eyes, you wouldn't have noticed. But I was watching that shudder, that microsecond oh no moment before putting the mask back on. Senator, as I mentioned in my previous statements, the FBI conducted a thorough and impartial investigation on this matter. And all findings. I don't care about your previous statements. I don't care about your previous statements. Blue folder. Klobuchar opened the blue folder in front of her, marked with thick, colorful tabs. I'm interested in the things you didn't tell us. I'm interested in the things you didn't tell us. The temperature in the room dropped. You could feel it. That shift in energy. The feeling that everyone would witness. Something they would talk about for weeks to come. I especially want to know, he continued, why the 17 documents seized from Mar-a-Lago, marked as containing the most classified and sensitive information, were reclassified to an even higher level after you became FBI director. Especially, I want to know, he continued, why the 17 documents seized from Mar-a-Lago, which were marked as the most classified and sensitive sections, were reclassified to an even higher level after you became the FBI director. Deathly silence. Patel's hands, which were comfortably resting on the table, now gripped the edge. Senator, I am not aware of any irregular reclassification process targeting specific documents from that investigation. Senator, I am not aware of a disorganized reclassification process targeting specific documents from that investigation. Are you not aware? Klobuchar pulled out a document and held it up for the cameras to see closely. This is an internal FBI memo dated February 8. It was prepared 6 weeks after you took the director position. He orders the Information Security Division to conduct an expedited classification review of all documents referencing foreign intelligence sources and methods seized in the Mar-a-Lago search. He intentionally put the document on the table. It has been signed by your deputy head of counterintelligence. Are you saying under oath to this committee that you were not aware of this directive? Are you saying to this committee under oath that you were not aware of this directive? Patel looked at his lawyers. Neither of them could do anything. No whispered advice. There are no past notes. He was lonely. Senator, classification reviews are routine procedures. Klobuchar's voice didn't rise, but it was as sharp as a knife. There is nothing routine about taking documents that are already at the highest classification level and making them even more restricted. There is nothing routine about doing this with documents that involve a former president. And there is absolutely nothing routine about the timing a Trump appointee, a Trump loyalist, taking control of the FBI just after you? Patel tried to turn the situation around. He wanted to politicize the issue. Senator Klobuchar, I find it deeply concerning that the members of this committee continue to weaponize oversight for partisan attacks. Arming. Klobuchar didn't smile, but her expression said it all. Director Patel, you want to talk about arming. Let's talk about disarmament. Let's talk without weapons. He pulled out another document from his folder. This is the testimony of a 23-year career FBI agent who worked directly on the Mar-a-Lago document review team. His name is redacted for protection, but his testimony is crystal clear. His name has been redacted for privacy, but his statement is crystal clear. Started reading. On March 14, I was instructed by senior leadership to stop my analysis of 3 specific documents seized from the former president's residence. When I asked why, I was told that the review had been elevated to a restricted access program that I did not have clearance for. When I stated that I have TSSI clearance and have been working on these documents for months, I was told that the decision came from the director's office. Klobuchar looked directly at Patel. This is you, director's office, your office, your office. Patel's face went through 3 distinct stages in about 5 seconds. Surprise, he didn't notice the presence of the witness. Anger. Someone had spoken from within his own building. Maske, the political poker face. I still have control. Maske, political poker face. I still have control. Senator, I cannot comment on the details of ongoing classification processes, but I assure you that any decisions made regarding sensitive material are solely based on national security considerations. There is nothing ongoing about this. Klobuchar interrupted. The Mar-a-Lago investigation concluded 14 months ago. The special counsel's report was filed. The case is closed. The only thing ongoing is your attempt to bury the evidence. The only thing that continues is your attempt to bury the evidence. Evidence. The gallery stirred. The reporters were frantically taking notes, and the committee members leaned forward. And Patel was sweating. He was really sweating under the courtroom lights. Simple question. Why? Let me make this very simple, Klobuchar said. Her voice was quieter now, but more devastating. 17 documents. All of them were seized from Donald Trump's personal residence. They all contain sensitive intelligence, which is even a federal crime to possess outside of a secure facility. And you, the person Donald Trump wanted to appoint as FBI director, made access to these documents even more difficult after taking control. Ve siz, Donald Trump'ın FBI direktörü olarak atamak istediği kişi, kontrolü aldıktan sonra bu belgelere erişimi daha da zorlaştırdınız. He hesitated. Why? Patel opened his mouth. He opened his mouth again. Senator, the protection of sources and methods. Then release the documents to this committee in a classified setting, Klobuchar replied. We have SCIF access. We have permission. If you are truly preserving the sources and methods, show us. But if you are preserving something completely different, explain that too. But if you are protecting something completely different, explain that too. 20 seconds of silence. In congressional hearings, 20 seconds of silence is an eternity. This is an admission that the witness does not have a good answer. Everyone watching understands they are witnessing history. Patel was sitting frozen. His lawyers were of no help. The speech notes he prepared were useless. Everything he had rehearsed for weeks was inadequate against a senator who had done his homework. He finally spoke. His voice was tense and defensive. Senator, I categorically reject any implication that the FBI under my leadership has acted to protect any individual from accountability. Director, let me stop you, Klobuchar said. Because you're doing it again. You give me process answers to content questions. You're providing process answers to content questions. Leaning in, he asked, how many of those 17 documents you reclassified contain information about Donald Trump's handling of classified material? How many contain evidence of potential violations? How many include communications between Trump and foreign officials? How many include communications between Trump and foreign officials? Patel's jaw tightened. Senator, I cannot discuss the contents of classified material in an open setting. Senator, I cannot discuss the contents of classified material in an open setting. Then let's move to a closed session right away, Klobuchar suggested. I will ask you the same questions behind closed doors. Then will you answer? So, will you answer? The courtroom exploded. Not literally, but very close. You could hear the breath being held from the gallery. The committee members exchanged glances with a mix of shock and the expression of, finally someone is cornering him. The journalists were running around, because it was the clip. It will be the opening of every news bulletin tonight. Patel's legal advisor assistant really stood up. He seemed about to object, but Klobuchar didn't even look back at him. This is a yes or no question, he said. Director Patel, will you answer these questions in a confidential setting before this committee? And Patel, perhaps for the first time in his entire professional career, had nowhere to go. If he says yes, he would really have to answer. And whatever was in those files, At least it would come before the committee. If he says no, he would be practically admitting to hiding something. The silence stretched. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Senator, Patel finally said, his voice a bit louder than a whisper. Before committing to a closed session on such a sensitive matter, I need to consult with the White House advisor and the Director of National Intelligence. White House advisor, Klobuchar repeated slowly. So, are you saying that before telling Congress, the body with constitutional oversight authority of the FBI, what was found in the documents seized from a former president's home, you need to get permission from the current administration? Are you saying that before telling Congress, the body with constitutional oversight authority of the FBI, what was in documents seized from a former president's home, you need to get permission from the current administration? Patel didn't answer. He couldn't. Because every answer he would give would be destructive. Final blow! Klobuchar gathered her documents. The expression on her face was somewhere between disgust and determination. Director Patel, he said, let me tell you what I saw. I see an FBI director meticulously chosen by Donald Trump. I see a man who has built his entire career on loyalty to Trump, defending Trump, working for Trump. And now, I see that the same man is under FBI control. He systematically restricted access to evidence that could link Trump to serious federal crimes. Now, I see that the same man is under FBI control. He systematically restricted access to evidence that could link Trump to serious federal crimes. He looked at the camera, not at Patel, to the American people watching directly. This is not a law enforcement activity. This is an obstruction. And I promise the people of this country, this committee will get the answers. If necessary, we will bring every document, every agent, every piece of evidence here, one by one, with a court subpoena. If necessary, we will bring every document, every agent, every piece of evidence here, one by one, with a court summons. The hearing, technically speaking, continued on its course. Other senators took the floor. Other questions were asked. Counter-terrorism operations were discussed. Budget deficits were brought up, but no one was really listening. No one was really paying attention, because there was only one thing etched in everyone's mind that was the main issue. The truth that Amy Klobuchar had just presented in front of the entire country. The claim that Kash Patel, who said he cleaned the FBI, deliberately concealed evidence related to Donald Trump, was no longer just an allegation. Why is it so critical? Rumors circulated for months. What was being discussed behind the scenes? The allegations from anonymous sources. It was said that the Mar-a-Lago documents were much more serious than reported, and that some of them posed significant national security risks if disclosed. But all of these were whispers. There was nothing concrete. Until now. Amy Klobuchar didn't come with a rumor this time. She came with evidence. What was presented to us was clear. Real correspondence. Real witness statements. Real documents. And they all showed that Patel deliberately restricted access to these files as soon as he took office. Moreover, he didn't beat around the bush. He said it openly. You are protecting Trump, not the country. He said it openly. You are protecting Trump, not the country. Result? A crack formed. Klobuchar announced that she will issue a court subpoena for all 17 documents that have already been reclassified. In 2 weeks, she is requesting a closed and secure SCIF session. He wants a general inspector investigation into Patel's classification decisions. And now, you are not alone in this struggle. 3 more senators on the committee, including 1 Republican, have signed on to these demands. The wall is no longer solid. It cracked. Will it collapse? No one can say for sure. Washington has managed to quietly bury even bigger scandals. People can forget. The agenda can change. The news cycle flows on. But that image remains. The moment Kash Patel sat there, sweating in front of the cameras. Those seconds when he couldn't even answer the simplest question. And when Klobuchar asked why, that heavy, suffocating silence that fell into the room. This silence is not the sound of innocence, but of guilt. And in America, he heard that sound. All it took for Senator Klobuchar to dismantle all of Kash Patel's defense was this. It only took 3 minutes to expose the cover-up. 3 minutes to ask that question that no one dares to ask. And Patel? Patel stayed there, unanswered, without a way to escape, when there is nowhere to hide. The silence that filled the room was almost deafening. One could feel the tension in the air. And now it's not just that room anymore. The whole country is listening.